Haynes and Boone is actually quite optimistic with the legal business in China, or our Shanghai office. Haynes and Boone built the Shanghai office in 2013, quite late as compared to all our contemporaries in the foreign law firm scene. We built it because we wanted to capitalize on the outbound investment, taking Chinese companies, taking Chinese money, and investing overseas in cross-border transactions. Because at that point we noticed that the trade trends actually was going very much increasing for the Chinese investing overseas, whereas the investment of overseas companies into China has reduced or is slowly reducing. Since our office is built to service the outbound investment, and we're still seeing quite a bit of growth in outbound investment, we are optimistic. You look at the sort of growth, almost crazy growth, from 2013 to 2016 of the outbound investment, and the sharp drop, which is mostly, I think everybody agrees, mostly generated by regulatory limitation by both the Chinese government for fear of too rapid a loss of foreign exchange, and by the U.S. government to a certain extent with relatively more protective interest in their mind. You see that as a I wouldn't say anomaly, but certainly a reaction to the exceedingly rapid growth of the outbound investment by the Chinese money. I think there will be a rebalancing, and indeed, when you look at the breakdown of the sharp drop, you realize that the sharp drop is generated by the very mega deals, the over kind of $1 billion deals, whereas the smaller deals, anything below $100 million, those tend to go on as normal. It's affecting the different sectors of the market differently. There's a great deal of saber rattling between the two countries, where things are threatened and may or may not come to pass. For example, I have a deal right now that is Chinese investment into U.S. A high-tech company with the technology somewhere outside of U.S., but with a potential market that is very much in Asia, particularly China. And normal times, this would be a very easy transaction to structure. Unfortunately, with the saber rattlings on both sides, you realize the uncertainty of this deal has increased a great deal. CFIUS amendment is winding its way, the legislation for CFIUS amendment is winding its way through the Senate and the House, legislative branch of the U.S. government, and we're expecting that to potentially pass by the end of this year. More worryingly, President Trump has announced that the Department of Commerce will in fact have a policy out, potentially an executive branch action or executive order out, whereby they will try to limit Chinese investments into high-tech industry. But they don't tell you what those are. So the increased uncertainty tends to create drags on deal flow, where your client or the seller wants to figure out what the situation is before they move forward on transactions. We have to understand the regulatory challenges that our clients are facing in China to help them navigate through the international legal challenges that would guide them, because effectively they are living under two different regulatory regimes. So how those regulatory regimes intersect, that is where the crux lies, shall we say. Now, Chinese legal system also is very different from the US or UK legal system in the sense that their laws develop differently. Chinese is a civil law situation, whereas the US and the UK are common law situations. So when laws are proposed and mandated in UK or US, how it sort of the sausage making of the law itself is a long, slow process where you explore all options. Whereas in China, the system is built whereby laws are pronounced. It's sort of someone sitting down and saying, here are the principles of what we want to do, and here's what you're supposed to do. But nobody really would be able to explore all machinations of all options of how this will work, right? It's always going to be, you will be faced with a situation or a particular set of facts, and then you will have to try to sort of sort it out as you go along. And so just by how the legal system is set up, as compared between China and US, there will be difficulties in legal interpretation.